What is up, everybody? I'm your host, Stephen Rochelle, here on the Real and the Rare Show. We're doing double duty today. I got a good friend, a blast from the past from me. MMA veteran here around the local scene here in the tri-state area, Mr. Timmy Vicious Tyler. Timmy, long time, my friend. Appreciate you giving me the time this afternoon. Let's have some fun, man.
Word up! You already know how I get down, man. It's been a long time though. Been a little minute,
Yeah.
but I stay loyal to the guys. So
Yeah, I think it's been like 4 years since the last time me and you sat down there had a conversation. I think if I remember correctly, that's the one we did the on location one, right? When you were in the round table with me.
No. I think the last one was 2022 when I was getting ready for the battleship
That's right.
fights.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And you went through some stuff too, man. Like you did a boxing fight your last time out, and then
Yeah.
and then life decided to throw you a fucking curveball, right?
Yeah, a motherfucking curveball, man. But it's all good, you know what I mean? You know, live and we learn. It's crazy. I was thinking about it, like it's New Year's 2026, and last year 2025 that's 10 years since I graduated high school, you know, class of 2015, and I'm like, yo, like I started meeting everyone and getting in the fight business when I was 18, 2 months after I graduated high school, and it's like I'm just like time doesn't wait for anyone. Life, like, it goes quick, man. Like I'm like you just said, I'm a veteran now. I'm 28 now,
Yeah,
sitting back,
you're absolutely the
looking
veteran,
at
brother.
the 18 and 19-year-olds coming up. I'm like, damn, man.
The game's completely changed.
Right.
UFC's not doing pay-per-views no more. You know,
One thing, everything is on the phones, and like you don't even need cable anymore. It's like you need Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, and Paramount Plus, and all. It's like things are changing. Next thing you know, we're gonna have robots like bringing our food to us. You know.
In some cities it might be better off because
Right.
People be too stupid and messing things up for everybody sometimes. That's all I gotta say.
Messing up the most simple things, but it's all good. You know, I'm praying for them. I'm praying for those people.
Exactly. That's all we can do, my friend. I wanna we'll circle back to some of the life stuff going on with you. I know you got a lot you want to get off your chest, but I want to talk about just a lot of the stuff that's going on in today's world, right? We're talking about 10 years ago and everything like that. 10 years ago, Chip Kelly was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. He just got fired from his offensive coordinator job there in Oakland. He's now going to be the offensive coordinator for Northwestern. How does people keep hiring this man? Like, did they not like? I get it. He's an offensive mind, right?
Offensive guru.
But out to take away his time from Ohio State, right? What has he accomplished?
Nothing really. I don't even remember like any good things that the Eagles seen when they hired him as a coach. You know, when he's coming.
He just
from
destroyed
Oregon.
our team. Well, in reality, he helped us. He was never going to take us there. He ripped out some things, but it made Jeffrey Lurie do some things and change some things, and it's brought in. Since that time, I mean, 3 Super Bowl trips, 2 Super Bowl victories. Right. We literally stopped 2 dynasties. If you really want to go back into it, we stopped 3 dynasties back in the 60s too when we won that championship. Right. We stopped the 3 back then.
And that's the thing that's talked about, and I think it's a lot of things that the Eagles have done that have pissed the fans off. But I think when Chip Kelly was a coach, that was one of the saddest times because it's like. You're seeing all the good players getting let out the building
off for peanuts. Like, we got Kiko Alonso for freaking for Shady McCoy, man. Right. I'll never forget that. It was a terrible time, brother.
He got rid of
Deshaun
and Deshaun Jackson,
LaShawn and LaShawn.
Like, yep, freaking Trent Cole, like a bunch of guys, like
and it's crazy to think because now Deshaun Jackson is now the head coach of Delaware State, an HBCU school, and Michael Vick's a head coach of of Norfolk State.
Norfolk, yeah.
Yeah, so it's crazy how things change up and times changes, and we were just talking about it, like time don't wait for nobody. It just moves right along, man. So as we were talking about the streaming in the combat sports world is kind of taken off. You were in the area when Dave Feldman was just doing the XFE fights. Now BKFC is arguably the most popular combat sports in North America right now.
Speaking of Mr. Feldman, I know Dave really well, and I remember I went to Florida to train with I went down to Boca Raton, Florida, and I was training with Thiago Silva and Hector Lombard, and I came back to Philly, and I was at one of the shows in Philly, and Dave Feldman came up to me and said, "Hey, you think you can get me in contact with Hector Lombard? I really need him." Got him in contact and all, and Feldman, I'll just let you know where to send a check at. You know what I mean? I helped you build a little bit.
Hey, listen, man. It's those little things like that just like help. We're inside the combat sports community that people don't really talk about. The little things that kind of help one another, and I don't think, at least in this area, Dave is given enough credit for the stuff he did when he was doing XFE, and they even did like XFE boxing stuff. They got bought out by CFFC, and I remember seeing him and his son there, and he had this conversation with me. He was like, "Listen, my contract is up here. We're done, picking up the trash around here. I'm going to go down to Florida, and I'm gonna start this new promotion. I'm gonna start bare knuckle boxing." I remember him saying it like at the time, and just think about from where he was on this scene doing that little stuff to the stuff that you were just talking about, like how much things changed. Like, he had arguably the most biggest talked about upcoming combat sports promotion in North America. He's got all these former guys that were in the UFC. We're about to see Andrei Arlovsky and Ben Rothwell fight here in Philadelphia for the BKFC heavyweight title. It's going to be it's funny how things just change, and you see the success some people have when you remember when they were just one of the little mom and pop promotions here in in the tri-state area. So I couldn't be happier for Dave to see where Dave, he came from to where he is now. And even Damon, look what Damon's doing, man.
Right, his brother. Isn't Dave, isn't he's partners with McGregor with
Connor's a partner, but they have a bunch of partners. I don't know if you were out for this. Max Crosby from the Oakland Raiders has part ownership in the BKFC. They have a couple people, but I think Connor, outside of Dave, has like one of the bigger partner packages, and I guess obviously that's why Connor's always around it, always out there. He doesn't have stuff going on. He's kind of like the MC on the mic and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I think it's a perfect marriage. I think it was one of the smarter things they did is bring somebody like Conor McGregor in there, because when and if he sales like his majority share in the promotion, he's gonna rake over hand over fist, in my opinion. So,
right. I agree.
Couldn't be prouder for what he's done. I mean, like, listen, that's the XFE days to where he is now. It's an interesting journey. I think it's one of those things that, quite honestly, could be movie worthy, right?
Right. His journey, yeah.
I mean, him and Damon too, because they both
their journey, the Feldman brothers, yeah.
Because Damon did celebrity boxing up until he just rebranded it. I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago. They're about to have an event, I think in like March, over at the arena. So it's a very interesting thing. I think they're one of the.
I tried to get on one of the celebrity boxing cards. You know, when he first started, I was interested in that. It was popping up. It was on Instagram. It was everywhere, Facebook, and I'm like, this looks interesting. I hit him up a couple times. He never responded, but
shout out to Beckham. Who's Beckham? Who's Beckham? Are you talking about David Beckham? Odell Beckham? What Beckham are you talking about? Oh man, but yeah. So I mean, now with some of the stuff that's going on right now, obviously we were just talking about Paramount and the death of the pay-per-view. How excited are you for this first card that we're going to see basically here at the end of the month? Gagey and Pimblett for for the lightweight title. You got Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes for the bantamweight championship. O'Malley's going to be on the card. Rose Namajunas is going to be on the card. It's going to be interesting. You got Michael Johnson still going to be on the card. So how excited are you for this event, brother?
I was just looking at the card earlier, you know, the matchups, and I seen they got my girl Rose on the prelims now, and I'm like, look, we was just talking about it. Oh, how times have changed. Like,
I think that's an insult to her. Like, I get it. You like they want her. They're basically she's the headline of the prelims. No. She's past that.
She's main card.
She should be like the kickoff for the main card. Exactly.
Right.
Because I mean, she put down two of the best strawweight champions that the promotion has ever had.
Ever.
She stopped Joanna. She stopped Joanna, and she stopped Wee as well. So like, I mean, granted, like we say, style makes fights all the time, and that's how she winds up losing the belt to Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza is another OG veteran, and she's very familiar with Rose. Watched her. They were together in Invicta. They were together for the Ultimate Fighter. So it's like not a surprising thing to see Carla Esparza win a decision victory over Rose to win the belt. So I mean, I get why you do some of the things, but that's an insult to me. I don't know.
I agree. And like I told you, that's why it's one of the first things I brought up about that card. I'm like, seeing Rose on a prelim, that's like disrespect, but you know, it is what it is.
It's the UFC. I get it. I get what they're trying to do. Doesn't mean that if I'm a Rose Namajunas fan, I kind of feel slighted, man. I kind of feel slighted for Rose. So,
but
man.
I mean, the rest of the card is pretty interesting. I'm excited about the main event because I'll be honest with you, because people they like to say Patty has like the Connor effect or whatever. When I first heard about Patty, I never watched his fights, bro. I ain't watched a single fight of his. I'm like, he looks like a clown, and I'm like, I watched his fights. I'm like, oh, he's pretty good. He's pretty good, and he's beating a couple contenders, former champs coming up. So I'm excited to see this fight right here against Gaethje.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I think it's weird, like you have title basically being dropped and vacated and stuff like that, and about 2 months beforehand, Justin Gaethje was basically said if he's not fighting for a title, he's retired, and all of a sudden he wants up with a title fight. Doesn't really like he it's not like he's on like a 3-4 fight win streak, and but I get where he's coming from because like he's had his losses are just the Max Holloway fight is just one of those things where you kind of feel bad for him, like because last few seconds of a fight he was probably going to win on the judges' scorecard. Max stops him with like a second left in the final round.
That's rough. He baited him in. He said, "Let's go."
Yep. But like you have to be as much as it sucks, like you got to be the professional and not put yourself out there to get stopped with like at the buzzer, basically.
I think he was Gaethje was thinking about the post fight bonuses. That's what he was thinking about.
Yeah, I mean you can't blame him, but I mean apparently that whole thing changes too, and a lot of the fighters are going back because of the Paramount deal, and asking for better splits since there's no pay-per-view. So any of these fighters that had pay-per-view buys in their contract, they should go back and talk to the boss.
I feel as though any fighter, whether you're coming from the Contender Series, I feel like every fighter should be getting paid $1 million and up. You agree?
I think there's some fighters. There's probably a handful that should probably, show and win should account to about $1 million, right?
Because I'm just thinking about like, because I
know what you're talking about because I talked to a fighter. I talked to a fighter who was going to be on the Contender Series, and she was offered 1,000 and 1,000. And she was going to have to drop 2 weight classes to take the fight. And I was like, and she turned it down. Well, she's now the BKFC featherweight champion. So I think it was a smart move by her. But like, you can't always just go after that promotion because of the name on it, of the exposure you're going to get from it. You have to bet on yourself at some point in time. So, like they talk about, like, you see a lot of people talk about it. It's like, oh, well, unless you're a UFC fighter, you're nothing. I think that's complete and total utter nonsense because UFC only has 200, 300 fighters under contract.
Right.
That's a quarter of the combat sports fighter that we even have.
I think nowadays people know, you don't have to make it to the UFC to be considered like one of the greats. There's bunch of other options, bunch of other opportunities, like.
But the UFC did that to themselves, if you think about it, because of the contracts that are offered to some of these people. But they've also, if you really looked at it, they don't build up fighters like they used to. Like,
right.
We were just talking about like how much has changed in 10 years. The UFC used to have, like, every time the Ultimate Fighter would come out, there was 3 to 5 to almost 10 guys or girls that would go through those shows, and everyone was invested in these fighters. Everyone wanted to see when the next time they would fight. Right. And I know they're trying to supplement that with Dana White's Contender Series, and you still have the Ultimate Fighter. I think the Ultimate Fighter is, for all intents and purposes, dead. For a bunch of different reasons, but they don't build up their fighters. Like, you don't see what you used to see with the countdown shows, with the embedded shows. You don't see that unless it's a fighter that has a name attached to it, and you can't just only rely on that. You have to build your own stars, and I just think over the last handful of years they haven't done that for whatever reason, whether it be the fighters that they invested into just kind of didn't pan out that way or what. But you have to.
What do you think about Ilya? You think they groomed him right? Topuria?
He's having his own problems right now, but I think he's one of those guys that you could say that paid off, that worked out right. But I think the other thing is that the majority of the fighters that are on top and dominant aren't North American fighters, right? And I think that I'm not trying to sit there and say that's the reason why people are tuning in, but people are just tuning out for whatever reason. They're not invested into this stuff. You still have Kobe Covington hasn't won a fight in almost 5 years, but somehow still a ranked fighter.
Right. And he's talking about going to a different weight class, and they still have him ranked in welterweight. Right.
Oh man, the fake Chael Sonnen. That's what I call Kobe.
Yeah,
Chael Sonnen.
Kobe's funny. I'll be lying if I didn't tell you. Like,
I'm not saying there's not parts of it that are entertaining, but you got to win too, man. You got to win too. So I'm gonna pull this graphic up, and when you see it, I need you to tell me the first person that comes to mind when you see this graphic, right? So when you see whose fighter this, hype is up here, skill is down here. Not the person we just named, right? Outside of Kobe Covington. Who is all fight, no skill?
All
fight, hype, no skill.
All fight, hype, no skill. Does it have to be just MMA, or it could be?
It could be any sport. It could be boxing. It could be jujitsu. It could be bare knuckle. Whatever. Who's the first person that comes to your mind when you think all hype, little to no skill?
Um, Jake Paul. It has to be out of Jake Paul and
Listen,
Dylan Dennis.
you Dylan. Now there you go. Dylan Dennis is someone I'll sign up to. We can't say that about Jake anymore. All right, listen. I was very, very hard on how he was going about picking his opponents. He was picking older UFC type guys that were 2 weight classes below him, right? It wasn't he was fighting guys that were in his weight class, right? He was fighting guys that were basically welterweights. He's basically cruiserweight or light heavyweight, right?
Yeah.
So my thing on that is how many outside of that, how many boxers were fighting these higher level guys or these guys that accomplished a lot as they were learning the cutting your teeth against some of the biggest names in the combat sports world. That's the only part I'll give him credit for because no one has that resume as they were amateurs, right? Now, this last fight he had was the first time he really took a risk, right? Anthony Joshua was
Going to store.
Tell my mom I'm still doing my interview.
Huh?
Now, that being said, like Josh, we kind of figured what was going to happen. Anthony Joshua was, on the shelf for over a year. It was a last minute replacement fight. Now he finally took a fight with a guy who was bigger, stronger than him, and what happened is exactly what we thought we happened. But here's the thing: how many fighters are going to get in there knowing what's more than likely is going to happen and still be the same person? Jake didn't change one bit. Like I said, the hardest thing I was on him just picking these up on these older guys that were 2 weight classes over. He picked a guy that was a class up than him. Regardless, he lost. He lost. Whether you were happy with his performance, which I wasn't. You have to give him that respect for that. But I do say all hype, no skill. That is for Jake Paul. That is a fair assessment.
Dylan Dennis.
Dylan got it too. Dylan's definitely got it.
Dylan's he's a black belt, but he's a beatable black belt. Like he's all talk.
He's bottom tier. He's bottom tier black belt. We gotta have some questions about that black belt.
And I'm still doing my interview.
So, want to get into this one thing, and then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of why we had you brought on today, right?
All right.
This is going to kind of go coincide with some things. Phillies legend Lenny Dykstra, after almost 3.5 years of not being arrested, got caught for paraphernalia, drug charges, or whatever. Seeing the mighty fall. You just went through some stuff yourself, obviously. 21 months incarcerated.
Yep.
Kind of walk us through what happened, man. Like, because not a whole lot of people knows what happened. And, as you were sitting there saying, there was probably like one person that kind of really knew what was going on with you. What led to you? What led to you being in there? And like, what are kind of some of the things that life lessons, things that you learned while being in there that you want to share with everybody?
Well, I'll be honest. Yeah, I just recently got out on December 11th. I was incarcerated for 21 months, and yeah. So what happened was, long story short, I let my anger get the best of me, and my consequences was spending 21 months of my life in a cell. So at first, I'm going in there and I'm thinking, well, I don't have no record. My background's clean. I'm just gonna spend the weekend here, and I'll be out. And I'll never forget this. I had my first appearance, my detention hearing, that's where they they let you know if you're gonna get out on like PTI or something, or if they're gonna detain you while you fight your case. And at my detention hearing, I'm walking in there, like, oh yeah, I was already in here for a weekend. I'm ready to get out of here. Da, da, da. When that judge said we're gonna detain Mr. Tyler until we're gonna detain Tyler for his next court date, from that moment when I'm standing and looking at the monitor, everything went so slow. Like, and then I just started getting anxiety, and I don't remember how I got back to the tier that day, but I remember what I was doing in my cell that day when they told me I was going to be detained, and I knew I was going to be in jail for at least a month. I was it was just anxiety. I was just anxiety, and I'm like, it felt like everything was just like falling on top of me because I've never experienced this before. It's like my first time. So to hear that you're gonna be in jail for a month and it's your first time is like it was like uncomfortable and different for me. But that 1 month turned into 3 months, and then 6 months, 8 months, a year. And I at first I was blaming God. I was like, like, why this happened to me? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a criminal. I've never done anything crazy. And as the months went on, I stopped blaming him and I started thanking God. I'm like, thank you. And I started embracing it because I knew that nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect, and I needed to be sat down for a little bit. Needed to be sat down, and I had to reevaluate a lot of things and rebuild a relationship with my family. My kids. I have two sons, and I just had to do a lot of thinking. And when you're in prison, that's all you got time to do is think. And being in prison, it makes you face like who you are and what you've done, and it's your job to be different. It's your job to take advantage of the opportunity you get when you first when you get out. Like, are you going to be that person that puts you in there, or are you going to be that person like that you dreamed about and prayed about, that different person that we're talking about. So yeah, it was I went through a little journey. It was like obstacles, being in I spent time in the county jail fighting my case. Then I was shipped to prison, and yeah, it was a little journey. It was definitely uncomfortable because I'm not this is not the life that I live or I want to live. But I adapted to it. I adjusted to it and all, and here I am.
Were you fortunate not to have anybody like look you up and be like, "Oh, you a fighter? You think you're a tough guy? You want
Yeah.
you,
So
you
so
deal with anything like that?"
yeah. So when I had to spend time between two different counties. I was in Burlington County first, and then I got sent to Camden County, which is where I'm from, Camden. So everyone knew me in there. Everyone. So some of the CEOs. There was a CEO that walked up to me and said, "Hey, you're Timmy Tyler. I seen you fight in Massachusetts at Jason Showers." I'm like, what the hell? You was, and that was actually cool to me. That was like cool. I'm like, yo, that's like cool. Like, it was Camden, so people talk. So, but when I was in Camden County, I'm laughing because I told my family that was when I had the most wars in there. Let's just say battles. A lot of tough guys running their mouths, and you know when they know that they can't beat you, they try to threaten you to hit you with like a brush in the sock, or batteries in the sock, or poke you up, like just stupid stuff. But um, believe it or not, like I walked away from a lot of stuff. And one of that same CEO that asked me, like, was I who I was, like Timmy Tyler? He said to me, he said, he seen me walk away from a situation. He said, why didn't you kick his ass? I said to him, just because you know how to do something to somebody, that doesn't mean you should. You know, I don't need to impress these guys in here because I'm trying to get out to my family. So, did I get into some stuff? Yeah, it's jail. It happens. But most of the stuff that would have made me my stay there longer, I'm proud of myself from walking away. And that was the growth that I seen in myself, because I was in the situation because I let my anger get the best of me, and I didn't walk away. So being in that type of environment, when I was in the county jail, I was on the max floor. I was on the top tier, like the max tier, with you know violent offenders. So I had to adjust and I had to adapt to some stuff, but I got through it, and uh I didn't even think I was gonna have to go to prison actually. But then the way things turned out, as far as how much time I had in it all, and just worked out in my favor. But um, yeah, it was a bunch of crazy stuff happening in there, and I wrote a when I got to prison, I was when I got to prison, I'm walking into prison. I remember I walked on my unit. I said, "Wow, I'm really in prison right now." Like, and that was this past September. I got shipped to prison in September, but I had so much time, and like when I took my deal, I was able to get out, you know. So I'm good right now. Thank God that I didn't have to do. I was facing years, and thank God that I got out in a little under 2 years, 21 months. Um, it was definitely a wake up call, and the whole time I was in there, bro, I'll be honest with you, I'm like, should I continue to do the same stuff when I get out, which is, or should I have the same dream and goals, which is try to make it to where I want to make it to the big stage. And it was really getting to me. And towards, like, I was training inside of the jail, staying in shape and all, but I started to fall out of love with the fighting. I'll be honest with you, because I said maybe is because that's all I want to do is fight. And now I'm sitting in a jail cell, so I'm like, maybe I should be doing something different. Um, so I started to cut hair in there, and when I got to prison, I signed up, and I was they offer you cosmetology and all, and I was doing that. So that's something I picked up on. But when I got out of prison, the only thing that's been on my mind is fighting. You know, like the bounce back, the journey, all the stuff that I went through being incarcerated, like making every single opponent that is placed against me, making them feel it, make them feel my pain. And when I was incarcerated, when I was in prison, I actually wrote a book that I just got my laptop yesterday. Actually, I'm gonna start typing it. I'm gonna get it published, and so you guys are gonna get to. It's raw. It's the raw, uncut, everything that I went through in my 21 months, from each facility I was in, each fight I got in. I'm sorry, each situation, each time I had an angel with me. It's the real deal, raw and cut. My book's gonna be coming out pretty soon. I'm
You got
typing
a
it right
name for
now.
it yet?
So what's up?
You got a name for it yet?
So I have my notepad, and I'm gonna post it too. My whole journey, I was writing down notes and all, and I'm picking names. I'm like, this sounds good. What name can best describe, or my situation, or what I had to go through? And the name of it
21
is gonna be
21 months of pain.
yeah, it's gonna be Heart of a Lion. That's that's the name that stuck with me, and you'll see why in the book.
So, what are something you would want to say to, like, people that maybe going through some stuff, maybe hanging around with the wrong people, making the bad decisions? What kind of lessons do you kind of want to share with them? What do you want to tell to somebody who, maybe been on the type of path that you were on, to try to help steer them back into the right direction, where they're doing something more constructive, instead of destructing their lives, hurting their friends, their family, their loved ones.
So my friends that know me and grew up with me, they know that I've struggled with my anger my whole life, like since probably kindergarten. And throughout my years, that's why I started getting into sports. It was a way to release it, and I was doing pretty good with it. But and this is things that I'm talking about in the public that no one knew about. I struggled and with anger, and I would get depressed, and it was a bunch of stuff, and I did a good job of keeping it in, and the people that I was with or around, like my close circle, hey Tim, like you should go talk to someone about it. I'm like, I'm all macho. I'm good. I'm good. I'm just gonna go hit the bag or something. You know what I mean? I'm all macho and all, and that anger started to affect my family, my mother, um, my significant other, and that's when I really realized as I had a problem. My 21 months in there, that's when I realized had that problem. I kept pushing it to the side, and my advice to you guys is if you guys are dealing with like depression or anger or even suicidal thoughts or anything, you feel like you're not stable at the moment, don't feel bad or don't feel stupid for trying to reach out to someone. My anger and I'm thinking about it right now. Like I'm thinking about right now my whole childhood, how many times that I've exploded on someone. I've just blacked out, and I'm better. I feel better. Couple hours later, whatever. But I didn't realize that throughout the years it was getting worse, and my anger is what's got me sent to prison. You know what I mean? Like, and if I would have got it taken care of like before, maybe I wouldn't have been in that situation. But I'm actually glad that I got in that situation because like it's all about the bounce back. And I told the judge I owe it to my family, my kids, my friends, everyone to I owe it to society. I owe it to everybody to be a better person and show that I'm, rehabilitated, that I'm recovered. I was doing anger management. I passed anger management courses inside and, domestic violence stuff. I passed, I did all the work. Now it's time to show everyone. But that's my advice. So if you're dealing with anything, call a friend or a family member, anyone that you feel comfortable with that'll listen to you. Go out and get that help because my anger, and I've seen other people's anger being incarcerated, um, and not just anger, like other emotion, depression, a lot of stuff. I've seen what that could do to people. I was in there with a guy that was in there for 30 years to life. I was in there with guys that's not getting out. That's just never getting out. Hey, what happened, man? Oh, I went to my girlfriend's house and we got into an argument. She started calling me names, talking crap to me, and I killed her. My ego, my ego got the best of me, man. And now I'm in here for the rest of my life. I seen a lot of those stories in there, and I'm just like, wow. Like the night of the incident, I texted my boy and I said, "Yo, come scoop me. Something's about to happen." He texts right back. He was in the studio. He's a rapper, and he's like, drop your dot. I'll come scoop you." Hey, I put my phone away because I'm like, nah, I'm good. Put my phone away. 20 months later, I thought about that every single day being in there. If I would have just responded to his message, I would have still been out there. That's what I learned though. Do first what a fool does last. That's what I learned. The fool, he walks away at the very end when it's too late. But the wise man gets out of there first. And that's what I've learned.
It's a rough lesson. It's something that a lot of us have to learn. Like I'm not acting like I'm any better than that, but like I'm lucky enough to not have been put myself in those situations where I knew my anger was getting the best of me. I watched my dad snap out of my mom, beat her, stab her, slice her up, wound up going to jail because of it. So it's like one of those things. Like my whole life, I was like, that's who I'm not going to be. So when I felt like anytime I felt that where I knew my anger was getting the best of me, I would find a way to do anything else but be in that situation. So some of us find better ways to kind of channel it. Like obviously, I think it's probably a big reason why you were involved in combat sports over the last 10 years. Now you were sitting there saying while you were in there, you were questioning things. You lost your love for it. Your why am I doing this and stuff like that. So, and I know you've gone out there and you've asked your friends, you've asked your family, like, do they want to see you compete again? Now, here's the question I'm going to ask you. Seeing how the landscape's changed, seeing how everything's going on in the area as far as the promotion-wise, where do you want to fight next? What do you want to do? Do you want to do bare knuckle? Do you want to do boxing? Do you want to go back and do MMA? Like, what is the thing that's going to get your juices flowing to excite you to be involved in the combat sports world?
So I got out. It's what's today? Today is
the 4th.
Today's January 4th. I got out of prison December 11th, and I just been just been adjusting and just sitting down, and I'm on YouTube because I haven't had YouTube for 21 months, so that's what I've been on.
A lot to catch up on.
I'm reading, or I'm sorry, I'm not reading. I'm watching all of my old interviews, our interviews on, my interviews from my MMA News. I'm listening to all of it. I'm watching all my highlight videos and all my practice videos and all my fights, and I watched my very first amateur fight when 2 months after I graduated high school, and that's what I got, this feeling in my body, and I got that feeling that I had that very night when I was making my debut. I said, this is the start of something great. So I found my love again. I found that love again in MMA, and that's what I'm gonna come back and do. I'm getting back into full-time MMA. I did a couple of boxing fights, and some of the coaches, even Jaron Ennis Boots, looked me in my face and told me, I think you should. I think you'll be a better boxer if you focus fully on boxing. You got what it takes. He even told me his weight cutting techniques. But I'm like, turning on that first amateur MMA fight, and I know that feeling. You don't forget the feeling, and I got that same feeling. I'm like, this is it. This is for me. I was all out there in my first amateur fight, not even knowing what to do. I'm supposed to be taking off my shirt. I'm turned the other way, talking to my coaches, like the refs, like, hey. But this is for me, and I'm coming back in MMA, and I'm thinking about somewhere in the summertime, and I'm not fighting anywhere else. My first fight back is gonna be home. It's gonna be around here. It's gonna be either in Jersey or my second home, my home away from home, Philly. So that's what we got going down. Like, I'm not giving this up. And you were right. Like my friends there, I was asking them, like, because I'm 28, and I'm like, I've started fighting when I was 18, and it's been like 10 years, and I feel like it's been 10 years of, like, I feel like I've wasted my time because I was incarcerated. And a friend of mine just told me yesterday, don't let that define you. You know what I mean? That's not who you are. Come back from that.
So you gonna reach out to Damon and ask him about that X Rumble fighting championships?
I mean, where does he have his events at? They
well, I think they said the first event is going to be in March at the 2300 the arena.
Interesting.
I mean, listen, closed mouths don't get fed, to me. Like, even if you go there as a spectator just so you can have a conversation, sit down with them and chop it up, and see if you can find something that makes sense for the both of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been my little brother, he wrestles and he plays football, so I've been going to his matches, and I was actually at my old high school the other day, Pennsauken High School, and the athletic director, I told him about what happened and all, and because he knows me. He used to be a teacher at our school and a coach, but now he's athletic director, so he knows me. And he wants me to come in to speak to the kids, like an assembly, and not just at Pennsauken High. And this is another thing that is, like, I feel like it is meant to be. He wants me to go all around to all the high schools, Timber Creek and Camden Catholic, and he wants to set that up for me as a motivational speaker.
Well, yeah, might as well, dude. I mean, like, yo, you've run the gamut of everything over the last 10 years. Why not share your experiences with kids who, like we were just talking about, kids that might be dealing with that stuff themselves, and they just, they're too proud, their ego's too big, they don't want to talk to anyone. Like, I think it's the most important thing is admitting that you're struggling with dealing with something, and you need a better support system, a better way of dealing with things, whatever it may be. And sometimes it may be somebody that you can relate to that's going through that to kind of help put you in that right direction. That's why, like, when you reached out, I was like, yeah, absolutely, man. Like, let's share what we can share with, and try to help people kind of like look inward and be like, hey, man, I need to do better at this. Who should I talk to? Who should I reach out to? What should I listen to? What should I change? Like, none of us are perfect, man. No one that walks this planet is perfect in every aspect of life. It's just it's not an attainable thing, but it's not something that you can't strive to be better every day. You can't strive to kind of put yourself in a better situation. So, I mean,
right, and that's the thing. I was intoxicated before my incarceration. I was intoxicated with pride and ego. Like, I let pride and ego like steer my life, but I believe God sat me down and said, you need to learn a lesson, and that was a lesson. 21 months of my life, and I felt pain before. I've been kneed in the face, I've been punched in the face, but the pain that I felt being away from my family, my kids for 21 months I've never felt that kind of pain. And
yeah, when you let your kids down, man, that's kind of like a different kind of pain, a different kind of sting, a different kind of failure. Like, can't put words to that. Can't put words to that.
Now my kids are older. I have an 8-year-old and I have a 5-year-old, and my 8-year-old, he almost lost his mind when he seen me for the first time in 21 months, and he's been with me, and he's always on YouTube. Dad, can I watch your fights? Dad, can I watch your fights? And I'm like, yeah, I'm putting it on for him, but I'm staying silent in the back, just thinking like, the bounce back is going to be vicious. It's going to be crazy. Like, the comeback is going to be amazing. Like, I'm putting.
Yeah, but see, now it's not about personal pride, personal ego is why you want to succeed. It's about them more than it is yourself. Like, you want to show them, like, hey, this is what's possible if you don't let this bring you down. You don't let this be a reason why you say, well, I can't do this and I can't do that. Shouldn't be in their vocabulary for anything, for any aspect of it. You can do anything you want in this world if you put your mind and body to it.
I just told my 8-year-old the other day on Christmas. He was trying to open his he has a wrestling belt. I got him a wrestling belt, the replica. He was trying to open the little box. He had to take a little piece of tape off. Daddy, I can't do it. I said, don't ever say you can't do anything. You didn't even try yet. That's the thing. A lot of people quit before they even try anything. Like,
and we're talking about wrestling and stuff like that. You see what Gabe Stevenson's been doing? He's teaming up there with John Jones, and he actually says he wants to make his MMA debut on an event with John Jones. Now, people who don't know, like, we know who Gabe is, but multiple time Olympic world champion.
beast.
He actually tried out for the NFL. I think it was the last season, not this season, last season.
Yeah, he was on the Bills, right?
53-man roster. Now I think he did Mike Perry's dirty boxing a few months ago. Knocked the dude out early in the first round. I mean, I think he's a very intriguing guy to watch, and it's just like, you see Rogan's talking about him, everyone's talking about him. I think he's going to be one of these guys that's going to be taking the combat sports world by storm within the next 2 years.
I feel like he's going to have that Brock Lesnar, similar thing that happened to Brock Lesnar, but it's going to be different. A lot of people, Brock Lesnar was like 4-3 in the UFC, something like that. I think.
Yeah, but he was fighting monsters.
Yeah,
like, all right, take the Frank Mir loss out of it, and Frank Mir's freaking amazing, amazing. But Cain Velasquez,
Shane Carwin,
Shane Carwin,
Heath Herring, and
juiced up Alistair Overeem, not normal Alistair Overeem. He had
right.
Alistair Overeem on
the
Super
juice to the juice to the gills, the juice to the guns, yeah.
So I mean, I don't think there's anything I look at where I think Brock Lesnar failed at when he came to MMA. No, I think, and then then he had the verticulitis where he lost a foot and a half of his intestines. So it's a different thing, man. When you have stuff like that happen, so unfortunately, medical stuff, cut his UFC career short, but he's an absolutely freak of an athlete. I mean, look at his daughter. She's killing it in shot put and in the college that she's at right now.
Yeah,
so it's in the genes, my friend.
And Brock Lesnar is still moving he's
he's on his retirement tour now. I think he's trying to retire at SummerSlam in Minnesota, which would be perfect for him, so to speak. So now obviously me and you are Eagles fans, so I got to bring it up. What do you you missed the Super Bowl last year. I'm sure that was probably one of the things
I was watching that I watched that Super Bowl from beginning to end. I was watching it right in my cell, D108, right with my hookup, eating it, watching the Eagles kick some Chiefs ass.
So I mean, obviously, this season hasn't been the greatest or whatever. We're looking like we're going to be the 2 or 3 seed. Coming from you, man, what are you feeling? You feeling like they're gonna make another run? They're gonna make a Super Bowl? They're gonna win another Super Bowl? If you got your prediction hat and you get, I'm painting you in the corner. What do you say the end of the Eagles season is gonna look like this year?
The end of the season is gonna.
How's it end? Does it end with the Super Bowl?
Remember when we went on the run to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl? I feel like that's what's gonna happen this year in the playoffs. It's gonna be like that, because we're being doubted right now.
Defense is too good for anybody who we have to face. Their defense is too good. The question is can they find enough rhythm on offense? And the offensive line's been banged up. Not just injury wise, but they haven't played to where they played last year. And I think that's the biggest reason for all of it, right? But here's the other thing: they haven't played a full 4 quarters of football this whole season, so nobody has tape on them of them playing at their best, right? So what I'm thinking is, listen, I think they're peaking at the right time. They have the pedigree. I think if you look at anything, look at 23 when the Chiefs won the championship, and they would just find ways to win. Well, I think this team's is light along them signs. You have a Super Bowl caliber defense, which I think is just as good as the defense we had last year. And you have a Saquon Barkley. You have 3 receivers that can stretch the field in different ways. You have AJ Brown, you have Devontae Smith, you have Dallas Goedert, who's having a record year. For him, 11 touchdowns is most receiving touchdowns by a tight end in Eagles history at this point in time. So I think they could put it together. You get Lane Johnson back in the playoffs. You get some type of consistency with the running game and find the balance. I think that they could beat anybody. There's no one that really scares me to the point of it. They're good teams. There are teams I think that are put together well. Love the Bears story this year and all that, but I just think they have too much to be able to do. Now, one more before I let you go, and it is another Eagles-related question. Then I'll do the normal wrap-up that we normally do. I came across this before we came on, and I just wanted to get your opinion on it, right? So this is I guess the Philadelphia royalty here, right? You got Reggie number 1, Chuck McNair number 2, Kelsey's 3, B-Dog's 4, McNabb 5. Cunningham 6, Harold Carmichael 7, Fletcher Cox is 8, Jason Peters 9, and Brian Westbrook rounds out the 10. If you're picking your Philadelphia royalty, Is this kind of what it looks like? Do you have anything you'd flip around, change around? What would your top 10 Philadelphia Eagles royalty list look like?
Well, I'm gonna be honest, because these kids nowadays they talk about stuff that they weren't even born, they weren't even
Mm-hmm.
around for. So
Mm-hmm.
I would change my top 10. You want me to name my top 10
Let's
for
do it, brother.
when I was around?
Let's
So
do it.
number one, I'm gonna give it. I love McNabb. I love McNabb. I'm gonna give McNabb.
He doesn't
I'm
ever get
give
enough credit. He's the Josh Allen of the 20th century, because Josh Allen's doing it with no other weapons.
Yep, McNabb. I love McNabb. I don't care what anyone says. I got to give it to Brian Westbrook. I got to give it to Deshaun Jackson, obviously, Jeremy Macklin. Jason Avant is up there with me. I love Jason Avant. I love Jason Avant as well.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I got to put Jalen Hurts on there. The nowadays Jalen Hurts, Asante Samuel, Quentin Michael.
Two more.
You said two more?
Yeah, you're at 8 now.
I said McCoy, right?
No. You said Westbrook. Now we got McCoy. That's 9. And you got one more to go.
Add Shady on there, and I'm gonna go with Fletcher Cox.
Have to, man. Another one that doesn't get enough love.
I could switch out Jason Avant for Kelsey, but
I think everyone goes so wrapped into that the Super Bowl speech, and he definitely did up his game. Like, he was like, the season before, they were getting ready to cut him. They were getting ready to find his replacement. I get it. I think we get wrapped into his personality more than what he is in the field. I don't feel he's the first Hall of Famer, but I do think he will be. Brandon Graham is our modern day Iron Man, trash talker, whatever. Yeah. So there's a couple things I would change on that overall list. I don't know how you do a Philadelphia royalty list and you don't have BG on there, but obviously, because everyone wants to throw Reggie White on it. Reggie White left us, so
we can make some arrangements. I'm the type where I'll be like, oh, I want to put him on there, then I have somebody else. I'm like, oh, we only got 10 spots.
Yeah, so it's hard. Like, no matter what these lists is, like I even talk about it. Like, what I typically do the interviews, I do the combat sports Mount Rushmore, because everyone wants to say GOAT this. I'm like, you can't have a GOAT in combat sports, because there's too many different moving parts in it. You have different eras, you have different weight classes, you have different sports, boxing, MMA, bare knuckle, all of it. So it's like it's so hard to kind of put together like who's the greatest of all time when it comes to combat sports. I think there's totally different ones. Like, that's why I say combat sports as a whole, because there's just so many different moving parts to the combative sports that's what you do. But as we get ready to wrap this one up, Timmy, what I typically do here at the end is kind of throw the proverbial microphone over to you. Any parting words you want to say to the listeners, the people who kind of are going to be tuning into this interview? Anyone you want to give shout outs to? I mean, obviously, you haven't been fighting in a while. You don't really have any sponsors right now, but anyone, tell people where they can find you on your social media platforms. Anyone you want to give thanks to, family, friends, people who supported you, things like that. Timmy, the time is yours, my friend.
Well, first I want to give a shout out to you, Steve. Whenever I need a platform to speak, to to let things out, you're always there for me, and I appreciate that. But my shout outs are gonna go to my mom. She held it down my whole time while I was incarcerated. My mom, my sister, my brothers, my kids, my coaches, my teammates, my friends, everybody that sent me messages when I got released, and everyone that kept their foot on my neck and told me don't give up, to keep going, to pursue my dreams, and it's not over. But yes, so what I got going on for me coming up is I'm working on my book right now. I'm currently typing. I'm typing it up, and also dad first. I'm a dad first. but somewhere in the future, somewhere along the line, I'm gonna make one last run at this MMA stuff. I'm gonna make one final run the right way, training and everything. Like just focus, and I'm gonna put my all into it. I'm 28 years old. I started fighting amateur when I was 18, and I feel like so the perfect time for me to make one last run. So just support me, stay tuned, keep in touch. My socials are my Facebook is Timmy Tyler. My Instagram is underscore Timmy Tyler MMA. Haven't been on in a while, but that's the socials. But thanks for having me on, Steve, and I appreciate you always looking out for me, bro. Timmy
Not a
Tyler
problem,
out.
man. Have a good one, my friend. Enjoy your afternoon. We'll be in touch soon, my friend. Have a
You
good
too.
one.
Go Birds, go Birds.
That's right. Go Birds, my friend. All right, everyone. That was Timmy Tyler. Somebody I've been supporting in the combat sports world for, as he was sitting there saying, like last 10 years or so. So always love catching up with him. I think a story that I felt that should be shared with everyone. Hopefully, we get a lot of people tuning into this one. I think it's a great life lesson. We can't always let our anger get the best of us. So appreciate everyone for tuning in. Appreciate for the comments that we had in the chat. Other than that, another fun episode in the books as we're in the final week of the NFL season. So guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow, support all our platforms on the South Florida Tribune. The YouTube channel QR code is right up top there. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please head over and do so. As I was sitting there saying, we have already passed 1 million views. We are getting on to our next goal, which is 2,000 subscribers. We're trying to get those watch hours up and going so we can monetize this platform. I love sharing this platform with our fighters, our athletes, our other co-hosts. We're going to have another interview that I will be announcing early next week. We're going to have a Miami Hurricane joining myself, Ben, and Marvin on Thursday afternoon. So, guys, make sure you're locked in and keep it up with everything we're doing. Other than that, I'm Steve. This was another episode of the Real and the Rare. And everyone, enjoy your Sunday, enjoying the last week of football before we get ready to get to the craziness of January playoff football. Peace out, my friends. Catch you later.